Welcome to Pit Stop with Don and James. I'm James.
I'm Don. How's it going,
Don,
James?
man. Yeah, it looks really good. I see you rocking the Toyota Gazoo racing hat this morning.
That's right. This is courtesy of you, my friend.
Heck yeah, man. Straight out of Le Mans.
Yeah, man. It's a cool hat. Thank you for sending this.
Yeah, man. It's pretty sharp looking if I do say so myself.
You may say
here,
so.
Let me switch it out my hats then. I'm gonna take off the Williams and I'm gonna put on my Le Mans hat here.
Oh, all right.
Aston Martin, Heart of Racing.
Yes.
There we go. Now we can semi-match. Still dusty and dirty from the race. Le Mans is just a dirty area. Well, the track is anyways. The track is just this ultra fine powder of dirt. And it just is kind of like a low fog of just dirt from everybody walking in it all day.
Well, that's kind of, I think that's kind of how racing is, like there's just a lot of dust and dirt blowing around and little fine particles from the high speed cars going around. So, yeah. Actually the Portland IndyCar race is happening, I think today, right?
Yeah, they are up in Portland. One of my favorite IndyCar tracks, mainly just because nobody can ever figure out turns 1 and 2. Like there's always something happening every single race on the first lap. Inevitably, there will be contact or people just run through the tires or run over the grass or whatever it may be. Like it is never a clean start at Portland.
It's Portland's my hometown. It's where I grew up, and it's the racetrack is called Portland International Raceway, and PIR we always used to call it. And it actually was right near the house where I used to live before I moved away from there, and we could hear the cars at the track. I actually don't know that they were doing IndyCar there when I was living there, but they would do races of all kinds. They have drag races down there. And if I was out in my backyard or whatever, you could hear the cars going around at Portland International. So I got to get back up there. I never was really a IndyCar guy back then, especially, and so if they were doing any events there, I missed them. So I got to get back up there and go to my hometown, check out the IndyCar race one of these days.
Yeah, man, you should definitely make the effort to get up there. It's a cool little track. It's pretty short by racetrack standards, but I mean, it's a fun one to watch. I've always enjoyed it.
Yep. Yeah, cool, man. Well, we're in the middle of the summer break here for Formula One. We got a couple weeks left of no races. I don't know what to do because we got no races. I've got no basketball to watch. I've got football hasn't started up. English Premier League soccer still got a couple weeks away. So all I have is baseball, which I love. I watch a lot of Dodger games, but it's a little bit quiet on the sports front here for me.
Yeah, it's kind of a lull. We were actually looking at going to a baseball game, but I don't know if you've been following the news, but there was some diseases running around Chase Field out here in Arizona. What? So we opted not to go.
Diseases? What the heck?
Yeah. I think it was like, what was it? It was some sort of disease running around. Measles. That's what it was. Measles.
Oh, serious?
There was a measles exposure in Chase Field last month. So we were like, I guess we're not going to go to a baseball game for the rest of the year.
Yikes.
Yeah. Just vaccinate your kids, man. Just give them the measles.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think the Dodgers are in Arizona right now. And today's the last game of the series. So
yeah. We were driving through and it was we kind of saw the traffic in a distance. Whenever the Dodgers or the Angels come to play, man, it is like, as a resident here, I will not go. We did one year and it was the most chaos I have ever seen trying to get into a game. We've gone to plenty of games like, against the Rockies or like against the Marlins or Rangers or whatever.
Yeah.
And traffic is always somewhat manageable, even though, like the majority of the stadium will fill. But when one of the California teams comes, it is unbelievably
Yeah.
like amped up to another level. It is horrible, and I will not do it anymore.
Oh, well, the Dodgers are my team, so I'd be willing to put up with the traffic, but not to risk measles.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I think Utah has a pretty high rate of measles cases as well. It's kind of nutty. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that. But but yeah, Dodgers are kind of what keeps me going for now, and they got the final game with the Diamondbacks today. It's an afternoon game, so I'll probably catch the early game. And it was kind of they've had an exciting series. There's a couple games ago, walk-off homer for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the ninth, and so I was bummed about that. But yeah, it was exciting. And then the last game, I don't know, I know this is an MLB podcast, but the last game was another tight one. I think it was like a one run game that the Dodgers won and finally snapped a 7-game losing streak, which was kind of unusual for them to be in the hole like that, because they have had the best record in baseball. But anyhow, Autosport.
Yes, we are, like you said, we are at the midweek of the summer break. So 2 weeks are behind us. We got two weeks to go, I think is what we're looking at. I don't have the exact date of the next Grand Prix, but it is the Dutch Grand Prix coming up here for us. So super exciting. I think we mentioned last time that just how much we love the Dutch Grand Prix. I said I wasn't initially a fan of it and was pretty skeptical of just the track layout. As a spectator, it seems
Right.
almost a somewhat narrow track. And not, I think the only straight is the front straight, really. Everywhere else is pretty, it's got that long run where it's like kind of like a sweeping left, right, and everything like that. But it has turned out to give us some really good moments. So looking forward to the Dutch Grand Prix.
Right. It is, by the way, just I was looking at the schedule and it's on August 23rd. So
there you go.
Yeah. So what is that? 2 weeks from today is when the Dutch Grand Prix will be. And yeah, it's an interesting circuit and is only on the calendar through this year. And then next year it's a goner. That speculation, at least the way it's been talked about, they brought the Dutch Grand Prix on fairly recently as a way for Max Verstappen to have like a home Grand Prix, and in the heat of his dominance, the height of his dominance, I guess is a better word for it. And he's had pretty good success there. But yeah, got that banked turn. I think everybody likes the bank turn. We saw a couple of incidents on that bank turn a couple of years ago. I think like Lewis Hamilton like slid there, and Charles Leclerc was like both Ferraris maybe last year. There's been some interesting stuff that has happened on that track. So I'm looking forward to it. The track's been around a while. I just haven't necessarily been a Formula One track in recent years. So except for the until they brought it back for the Max Verstappen crowd.
Yeah, it'd be sad to see it go, man. Like I've actually really grown to love this track. So a bummer. But I don't know if you saw the news. I don't know that I shared it to you. Allegedly, they are going to be bringing back the German Grand Prix. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
Yeah, they are going to go back to not the Nuremberg. What's the other one? Hockenheim. It's Hockenheim, but I can't remember like what the other name is that they have for it. But yeah, Hockenheim. No longer the track of the earlier days that was forever long. just the shortened version of it. But it'll be nice to have the German Grand Prix back. I like the German Grand Prix. I really wish they would just recreate the old Hockenheim track. That was such a fun one.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've watched a race at Hockenheim other than I've raced the track on a video game. Same with Nürburgring, really. I mean, I guess I've watched a little bit of racing at Nürburgring, but anyway, yeah, that'll be cool, man. Uh, that I to be honest with you, that's a part of Formula One that I find really fun. A fun aspect of it is like the kind of cycling in of new tracks and um, the fact that the calendar can change year to year a little bit. I think they've kind of got the calendar tapped out, like maxed out as far as the number of races. I don't know what you think, but it does kind of seem really long. The season seems really long, and that they're really pushing it to the max there with 22, 24 races. That seems like a lot of races when you just figure that there's 52 weeks in a year. That's like, and then you need to factor in a few breaks. You're eating up a lot of the year. So, but yeah, I like the fact that they cycle some of these tracks in and out. It does make it a little bittersweet sometimes because like tracks like Spa, which have been around for so long and are so cool, you see them drop off the calendar and you're kind of like, ah, man, that's a bummer. Or Zandvoort in this case, you get a little bummed out when one of them goes away, but it's kind of like a never say never thing. They seem to come back, right? So gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, and I should say that the Hockenheim ring coming back. I think it's not until like 2028, so it's got a 2 year gap. So, um, fingers crossed that we'll have another German Grand Prix. Uh, that'll be a good one. I wish they would just fix it, make it the original. I miss the original track. Like I know drivers would like complain about and stuff like that, but I loved it. But anyways, I digress. So maybe looking back, I was thinking maybe we could talk about some of our favorite moments that we've had for the year. Now we were talking prior to this, and we were going through our comparing lists, and we both said Charles Leclerc getting a win at Silverstone. What a
Yeah.
great race, man.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that was just a pretty recent race. What was it? Two races ago.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we like Charles Leclerc around here. I know he's like my wife's favorite driver as well, and he's a driver that has been capable of doing a lot. He's been known as a really good qualifier. He's won several races. I can't remember his stats as to how many he's won, but um, in recent times he hasn't been finding it as much, and so it was really awesome to see him get back to the top step and pull out the win. And it was a quality drive, for him. Trying to remember, he started in P2, right? And then was able to get ahead of Kimi.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it was.
Kimi dropped all the way down towards the back end of the field, like 15th or 16th, something like that.
Yeah, P15.
But it was nice just to see somebody that wasn't a Mercedes on the top step. And we should note that 2 races prior, Lewis Hamilton, his teammate, won the Spanish Grand Prix. Then we had George Russell in Austria, and then we come back with Charles Leclerc in Great Britain. What a fantastic run! It's nice to see. Like, no matter what kind of fan you are, you always want to see like certain people or certain teams do well, and Ferrari is always one of those teams that everybody roots for. And just Ferrari, aside from themselves just being iconic in their own,
Yeah.
everybody's a fan of Ferrari. You know, like like I'm a Williams fan, but I still want to see Ferrari like absolutely go for it.
Well, yeah, they're legendary, and there's that red. It's sports car, driving fast icon, right? So, so yeah, I think Well, and then they've had so many legends that have driven for them, including Schumacher and now Hamilton. And I mean, we 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 have this weird relationship with Ferrari, I think, as racing drivers or racing fans. That the red, the speed, their sports cars are so beautiful. When I see a Ferrari on the road, like I'm like, wow, that thing, I love that. You see them rarely; they're expensive and kind of just they're rare out there. But whenever you see one, you get a little bit excited. And then at the same time, we find ourselves going like, what the heck are they doing with their strategy or whatever? Or sometimes we feel like they have this way of being stubborn and having, thinking that they're better than people or stuff like that. But I agree with you that because of that iconic nature and their longevity in this sport, I mean, they're really like the constant thread through this whole thing, right? And from the very beginning of Formula One. So I feel like, yeah, I love seeing them do good. And especially now, I feel like I want to see them get back to the top because they've really struggled for quite some time. So,
Yeah, and you mentioned the strategy. I think it was the last time we were on here. I For the Hungary Grand Prix, I had gone back and watched some of the previous years, and in 2022, Ferrari botched their strategy, and the commentators made a point to be like, "Man, Ferrari are just messing up the strategy again." So
yeah.
it's a recurring theme that if you're a longtime fan of F1, um, that in the more recent years you've seen Ferrari really screw up their strategy, and so yeah, it is great to see him. Charles Leclerc winning was a really great day, and then we should also mention that the three drivers right behind him were British drivers, right? We had George Russell in second, Lewis Hamilton in third, and then Lando Norris in fourth.
Yep.
And then what? I don't know the nationality of Hajar. Is he also British?
He's French. Yeah.
Oh, he's French. That's right.
Yeah.
He's French. So don't want to make that mistake. A bit of rivalry going on there.
Yeah. England, France.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hajar with the P5 was a good result for him as well. Right. And I didn't put this on my list, but Hajar has been one that I've been watching all year, and he's been doing solidly. And that's good because the second Red Bull seat for the last several years has been this revolving seat of new of drivers coming in and not being able to keep up with Max, and Red Bull trying this and that and not being able to figure out who should be in there. And Hajar seems like he's holding his own. He's keeping it close to where Max is now. Neither Red Bull has been dominating the way that they would like to this year, but I have been watching Hajar, and that P5 for him at Silverstone was a good finish. I had kind of forgot about that. So, but yeah,
yeah, a good chunk of the current F1 lineup has been Red Bull, under the Red Bull umbrella, either Red Bull proper or Racing Bulls or Toro Rosso as they were previously known. You got Albon, who was on there, Sainz, he was a Toro Rosso driver. Uh, Gasly,
Gasly
was in there too. Perez, so a pretty good chunk have all floated through there. And yeah, you're right. It's not easy. We saw Liam Lawson start there and then quickly demoted after I think it was two races. It was really quick, and they put Hajar in. So and in all fairness, you're right. Hajar, he's been doing pretty stinking decent.
Well, after they demoted Lawson, it was actually Yuki Tsunoda that got in there and just kind of stunk it up. I mean, he never could find it, and so poor Yuki.
Coincidentally, Yuki's not racing this year, so
yeah,
like
they decided
F1 is a cutthroat sport, man. It's not like like some of these other things we were talking about, like the MLB or American football. You got teams of 25 guys or whatever it may be, or double that for football. Yeah, your second and third strings, just kind of hanging around. And F1 is not like that. There's a finite amount of seats, and then even then, if you're a reserve driver, like it's not like you're going to get any play time.
Right.
You're just kind of sitting there on the sidelines. So it's tough. It's competitive, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I really like Yuki. I'd
Me
like to
too.
see him racing, but it's just the way the sport goes, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to play at play, right? Like the money is another huge thing, and that's another thing that's kind of surprising. You think that Yuki would bring in a lot of money, being a Japanese driver, the only Japanese driver out there. You'd think that Japanese money and advertising would flow his way, and I'm sure it does. But in the end, if you're just not getting it done, they can't keep you in there because winning is the biggest thing. So, yeah, Hadjar. Just to recap too, he's had one DNF. He's had several
He's had
P6.
two DNFs.
Oh, two DNFs. Yes, Australia and Miami. Sorry,
Yes.
I didn't scroll up all the way on my notes. Yeah, several P6s, two P5s. So the P5 we just mentioned in Great Britain, one in Canada, but his best finish so far was P4 in Monaco. So pretty good outing there. Yeah, he's getting it done. I mean, in the points is a big deal. Anything in like P6 range and above is a good result for a second driver for Red Bull, especially when Max isn't really winning races at this point. So yeah. Anyway, kind of got sidetracked there.
No, maybe just one final note on that. Out of all the races that he has finished, he's only finished outside the top 10 once, and that was in Japan. So pretty good. And then I know we did get sidetracked a little bit, but another really good moment. I think the whole race of Miami earlier this year was a really good race. Some crazy stuff happened. We had Max spin at the start of the race in turn 2 and drop all the way down to P9, P10 area, and then make a fantastic recovery drive up to P5. So that was really good. We also had Gasly flipping his car. Well, I say he flipped his car. He had a little help, and his car flipped into the barriers at the last hairpin, coming up to the front straight. And then we're talking about Hadjar having a DNF. This is where he had one of his DNFs. Made a bit of a rookie mistake, caught the inside wall, and immediately broke his front left suspension and ended his day. And then we had Leclerc spinning into the wall on the last lap, chasing down the car ahead of him, and then still finished the race on a busted suspension. So, yeah, all the way down to the last minute, it was a pretty chaotic, good race. I would say probably the best race of the season, in my opinion, just in terms of like the nonstop action that we had.
Yeah, it was a good race, and good because I don't always love Miami for some reason, but it was good. And I remember there being, if I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of like people watching the weather. They weren't sure if it was going to rain. It looked like it was going to rain. I don't think it ever came around. But yeah, that was one. And another bit of drama that I seem to recall from that race was George making some excuses, saying that he's not a Miami circuit guy, and Antonelli kind of taking it from him and sort of running with the ball in Miami, and and then George still hasn't really found it. I think he did win a race subsequent to that, but he's still trailing his young teammates. So, but yeah, Miami, good job with the good job with the Miami Grand Prix this year, guys.
And that's just the stuff I mentioned. You go back and watch the race. There's that long run down at kind of a midway of the track, and then they have that weird sharp left, and then it kind of loops around in a long right hand hairpin, and then immediately sharp left before you start running back. And cars were going 2 and 3 wide in there. Not a lot of room, and it's pretty slow. So a lot of great on-track action. And most importantly, I can't leave this one out, both Williams in the points for that race. 9 and 10, picking up the last couple spots.
Yeah, totally, man. That was a good race for them. Unfortunately, they seem like they're on a skid and haven't really been doing so well in the later, more recent parts of the season. I would say too, though, McLaren had a great race. They were P2, P3.
Yes.
Um, Lando in P2, Oscar in P3. So it was a good weekend for them. And Lando loves the Miami track. He's always done well there. Um, so yeah, it was a good race. Good pick, man.
Yeah, man. Can't go wrong with it. It was so good.
Yeah. So on my list of moments, you mentioned both of us talked about Silverstone. The other one that I had was, I've really been enjoying watching my boy here, Lewis, get back to form. So, sometime in the early part of the season, it was mentioned, they made a big deal about it on the broadcast, that Lewis decided he was kind of sick of using the simulator. He kicked the simulator to the curb and just started trying to get back his race instinct. And and let's see, I want to say it was in Canada. He kind of started to find it, and he actually grabbed P2 in Canada. Then he grabbed another P2 consecutively in Monaco. And then it kind of culminated with getting his first race win in a while, first race win for Ferrari at in Spain, in Barcelona. So I love that race. I thought it was so awesome to watch him. I was kind of nervous. I didn't want something to go wrong. I want to have a mechanical failure down the stretch or anything like that. And he pulled the win out in Barcelona. It was an all British Grand Prix podium at the end of that Grand Prix. So Hamilton P1, George Russell P2, Lando Norris P3. So that was another little interesting factoid for that. Yeah, man, I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm trying to find my notes really quick about all of the other stuff that happened during that race, but yeah, man. While I'm looking for that, do you have any thoughts about that race or about the
I Yeah, man. Maybe just Lewis and Hamilton in general. I don't think we really. I know you bring him up every once in a while, but we don't really like fully delve into just kind of what sort of season he is having. Um, he only has one win, which is the Spanish Grand Prix, but he's P2 in points. So he's
yeah?
had some great. His lowest finish has been six, and he's had 2-6 so far this race. And that's just the actual races. That's not even taking into account, the sprint races that we've been having going on this season. And although he's six, he's still some 50, 60 points, behind Kimi Antonelli in P1. And he's 9 points clear of George Russell. So uh, I still stand by it. I think Kimi Antonelli is still going to win the championship this year. But that P2 spot, that's going to be a tough one between Russell and the two Ferraris, I think.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, it's incredible that Lewis has pulled this off, because he was looking very snake bit last year. He could not find it in the car. I think he likes this configuration a little bit better. He said as much, that he doesn't mind the energy deployment stuff and the yo-yo racing that was going on early in the year. Something's working out better for him with the way that this car handles, and he's finding it. He has finished every race, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, and that he might be the only the only car that's done so. And you know, like I said, he had the two P2s, Canada, Monaco. Man, I wish he would have won that Monaco race, because that's such an iconic place, and he's won there before. So, but yeah, P2, and then he won the race in Spain, and then dropped down to P5 in Austria. So that wasn't particularly good. And if I remember right, it was like we were just kind of talking about the strategy calls. It seemed like it was a strategy call that cost him the Austria race. But then back on the podium for Great Britain. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but I was kind of hoping that he was going to get his
Yeah.
maiden win for for Ferrari in Great Britain, because he does do well at Great Britain. He loves the track. He's won there before. He's got a lot of home wins there. So I was really hoping that, but yeah, ended up in P3, P4 in Spa, back to P5 in Hungary. So I don't know. I think he is still struggling. Sometimes they just get the strategy calls wrong. But I don't think he's going to drop off, man. I think after the break he's going to come back. He got a new dog. I don't know if you saw that. He got a new dog. Poor
I did not
Roscoe.
see that. Nice, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, he's looks like I think he's like a golden retriever, like a golden lab or something like that. So a little bit bigger, more active dog than Roscoe was. but uh, but yeah, maybe he'll find it again in the second half of the season, and we'll see him challenge Kimmy for the P1 spot. I don't know. Kimmy's out there kind of clear on his own, but I'd like to see somebody get after him.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton might just be the guy to do it. I mean, Antonelli had that generational run where he won 5 straight. So, and then it was immediately halted by a DNF in Spain. So, anything can happen, right? We don't know what the future can hold, but if it's anything like the first half of the season, I think Kimmy's going to take it.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be favored. He's showing very few signs of like making mistakes or not. We don't have a good reason to think he wouldn't uh, continue to dominate and win the whole thing. Um, we'll see. I think last year, right? What I'm kind of likening it to is Oscar Piastri, who's a young driver, uh, was in the lead for the championship last year, but couldn't hang on to it. And I think there was some little, just mental mistakes and rookie kind of errors that happened down the stretch. And Lando, who's a little more seasoned than Oscar, just held on until the end. Even with Max Verstappen charging to threaten for the championship last year. So maybe there's something like that. This is a very mental game where you have to be focused, and little slip ups like track limits has been always a possible issue for Kimmy. Track limits not only could cost him get him penalties, but when you're pushing the edges of the track like that, more DNFs could happen. If you hit a curb, you grab some dust to get some gravel and you spin, get beached, hit the wall. A couple of those down the stretch of the season, and he could be in trouble. Another factor that comes into play here, Malaysia is thrown into the mix, right? We got a replacement race, Malaysia. Kimmy's never driven there, as far as I know. So throwing a brand new circuit at him makes it another chance for a possible DNF. I guess a lot of these drivers haven't driven at Malaysia, but
None of the younger guys will have that. Yeah, that's another one that I'm going to be really excited about. I love the Malaysia Grand Prix. I was texting you guys earlier that I went back and watched the last time they were at Malaysia, which was 2017, if I have it in my notes correctly.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
you saying,
2017, and one Pierre Gasly made his debut at that race. Came in and took over for. Oh, who did he take over for? I can't even remember now. But yeah, made his debut. So pretty sweet. So he'll hopefully be able to do a little something, something for the upcoming race.
Totally.
Yeah, but maybe we can shift a little bit here. Go on to our bold predictions.
Let's do it.
What do you think, man?
Let's be bold. All right, I got a few here. Should I go first?
Yeah, man, go for it.
All right. Okay, so bold predictions for Zandvoort, Netherlands Grand Prix. I'm going to put 2 Red Bulls in the top 5. So I think Hadjar's going to get it up there. I think this is a home race for Max. I think he's going to put it up there. I'm not going to go so far as to say that Max is going to be on the podium, but that's what I'm thinking. I think he's going to be on the podium. I think he might even win. This is the last time they're going to run this race. So he's going to pull out all the stops, try to get a home win, and both those Red Bulls in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm not going to
Yeah.
argue that one.
I think George is going to outperform Kimmy this time. I think George is spending the summer break getting his mind right, and he wants to take the fight to his teammate. So I think he's going to start trying to chip into this lead. George is I think he's kind of a methodical guy. He's a mature driver, so I think he's gonna take this challenge in the second half of the season to Kimmy, and it's gonna start off strong right out of the gate. That's my guess. And then Aston Martin, who started to surge last race, is the best they've done this year.
Yeah.
And so they were P13 and 14, I think. So I'm putting them P12 or better in this race. This is kind of an honorable mention for my favorite moments of the season. It was in the last race that they made a significant jump from that back of the grid. All of a sudden, they were doing okay. They got a car into Q2 for qualifying. They seemed seemingly much faster than they had been. They kind of left Cadillac in the dust, and somehow Stroll finished ahead of Alonso. So I'm like, hey, let's keep that momentum going. I'm a big fan of the Adrian Newey car in the past, so I want to see them do better. And this is sort of a vote of confidence. P12 or better for Aston.
Okay, man. Pretty bold. I went a little bold myself. I said that there was going to be a DNF in the very first lap of the race, so anywhere on the track. Most likely, probably turn one if I had to guess, or maybe turns 2 and 3. I'm going to put a Ferrari on the podium, a little bit more of a safe one there. And I put Williams back into the points. So there will be 1 point from a Williams over the weekend. My fingers are crossed on that one. I'd really like to see it.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I'd like to see Williams getting their act together as well, man. I was getting excited about them. I thought they were doing okay, but they've really dropped off. They've had a couple of just boneheaded things. We kind of stopped doing bonehead of the week award.
We need to bring it back.
I think we do, man. They've had some stuff with Carlos Sainz running into the back of a couple of cars, and just some strategy calls that have been bad. And but yeah, we got high hopes for Williams. I like that little team, man. They're just they're kind of like in some ways, I feel like Williams is like what F1's all about. You know, like these small constructors just wanted to compete at the highest level and making it work some way or another. And Williams has been, you know, they've won races. They've won the constructors, I think, in the past multiple
yeah, they've
times,
won
right?
it all a handful of times.
So yeah, just you got to root for teams like that. I mean, anybody can root for a Mercedes or a Ferrari. But little teams like Williams, I guess McLaren to an extent is also like a little team like that, right? Like Bruce McLaren just starting a racing team, and they've become such a force. But anyway, just a little side thought of mine about Williams.
Yeah, well, Williams is the oldest team that doesn't make a car. You know, McLaren, they make cars now.
Yeah,
but they were an independent team for the longest time. And now we've got Haas in the mix, and everybody else is a factory team.
Right,
well,
right.
Red Bull, you know,
Red Bull energy
they're,
drink
they're,
maker.
They're an energy drink, but Adrian Newey built a car for them, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like
for Red Bull,
for street legal car. Didn't he build one for him?
No, I didn't know that.
Didn't he? Am I misremembering? Maybe it was.
You would know better than me, but
I think I'm misremembering that. I'm gonna look it up here. Give me 1 second.
Now we got to fact check James.
I know. The Red Bull RB17. Oh, it's a track only hypercar. Is not street legal from the factory.
Oh,
okay. So,
well, they're. I mean, I thought that at one point Red Bull was trying to get into the manufacture at least of power units. They have not been a power unit manufacturer for a while, but But they were supposed to be making their own powertrains. You know, do you know whatever happened with that?
I think them joining up with Ford
is
kind of like their first step into it. I think I'm gonna speak crazy because if I remember correctly, uh, them partnering up with Ford was giving them like insights into like the whole build process. So we may or may not see it in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be kind of interesting if they could get out there and make their own powertrain and power unit. But I am also interested in Ford being involved. Like Ford's not in Formula One. If they're gonna sniff sniff around and see if it's something that Ford wants to jump into, we're all about getting American teams into this thing. So, uh, but yeah,
Okay, here it is. So Red Bull is building its own F1 engines through a custom facility in Milton Keynes, which is in the UK. Called Red Bull Powertrains for 2026 technical regulations. They are partnering with Ford to co-develop the hybrid power units for both the Red Bull and the Racing Bulls. So there you go.
yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I like this. I love there being more variety. I like there being teams that are somewhat self-sufficient. I like that. Right now it's like most teams are either a Mercedes or a Ferrari power unit. Audi's, I think, making their own power unit.
Audi will be making their own power unit, I think. Okay. I think they're, oh man, who's Audi contracted with? Because what's the other one? Cadillac. Cadillac's using a Ferrari engine, if I remember correctly.
I think that's correct. Right? Yeah, I think that's true.
Let me see. Who's the engine supplier? Or maybe Audi is making their own engines.
That's what I seemed to recall, but I could be wrong. I'm not always I'm not always accurate.
Let's see. So Ferrari supplies its own factory team, Haas and Cadillac. Okay, which I was right, but Cadillac is looking to make its own at some point. Mercedes is supplying to McLaren and Williams and Alpine, who abandoned Renault, or rather Renault abandoned them. Honda is doing Aston Martin, which is not shaken up. Audi's doing their own, which is nice, and then Red Bull's partnering up with Ford. So there you go. So Audi's the only one doing their own.
Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting mix.
Yeah. Well, it's shaken up to be interesting, and you're right. We do need a little bit more variety in there. But once GM fully enters in, I think that'll be a really good step forward.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, cool. Anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here?
I don't think so, my friend. We think we're eager for the second half of this season to begin. And it's not too long before they make their way back over to North America, and we'll have COTA, which is definitely one I'm looking forward to. I always look forward to the Austin race, Mexico City, also a great race. We'll be very curious to see what happens down the stretch of the season, because it usually ends in the Middle East, and there's just too much turmoil going on right now. So I have a little bit nervous that we're not going to get to see the finish that we normally see. They might have to cancel more races or move them. It'd be nice if they have to cancel any of the final races in the Middle East and that they replace them with something else. But it's getting kind of late to do so, unless somebody's working on that right now. I don't know if that's going to happen. So might have a season cut short.
Yeah, we're only 3 months out from the end of the season. Right? Something along those lines.
Yeah, usually in December.
First week of December. So we can get rid of the Qatar Grand Prix. I'm okay with that one. Last year was such a disaster for that race. I don't predict it being any better this year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, second half of the season. It's all to play for. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Yep. It's wide open, man.
All right. Well, I let's say adios. Enjoy your weekend.
Adios.